So it's like you can meet someone across the street and you see some things, but you wouldn't see the zit or whatever unless you're seeing them right close up. And who knows what else you might see if you went to bed with them, got really close with them. So this is like really going into the macrocosm in huge ways. We're looking at, here's my sun in Libra, and here's these two stars, Spica and Arcturus, two first magnitude stars right on it. Very strong. They're right conjunct my sun. There's some other first magnitude stars that are at different distances around it. But on this one, I put the rulership tree here, or the rulership code here, so you can see this fifth magnitude star, the orange magnitude star here, has the Mars-Jupiter rulership. It's like Mars-Jupiter. This first magnitude star, first one is just like Jupiter, and the second one is Mars and is Venus and Mars. So even with that, you can get some sense of meaning out of these stars, but the books interpreting them, they tend to take the constellation and make an association with the constellation. It's valid up to a point. I like to think of the stars as other suns, as other masters, as spiritual energy, with guiding light coming from other stars. There's 90% comes from our sun. We don't live without our sun, so our loyalty is set. We're part of our sun. But there are other teachings, other lights, other energies coming in from other points that if we work at, we can clear out. It's like most of us are going along with AM sets playing on the radio so long, or with the internet playing or whatever. We don't get to FM, or we don't get to shortwave, much less to telepathy or higher frequencies, or much less seeing angels or hearing things. There's so many frequencies of sound and textures of light. How much unless we refine and slow down and quiet down our life and our basic worldly things, we can't be open and receptive to these stars. We're not living up to our own life enough. So the stars are something you gradually develop a relationship and you strive to tune into and you strive to grow into. And the brighter a star, the more there is to try and tune into. And these explain this 10% of the light coming from all the stars. This is 1/745th of that bit of light. It's in a space, it's in a special place, in a special way, has its light, has its texture, and it's adding something. I think if you're meditating, if you're in your inner world and you have your mind at peace, I think an open mind at peace can be sensitive and it can affect the imagination and the thought structures that come to us from the stars. So this is how I tend to look at stars. There are points to live up to be in tune with, to try and reach towards the stars. Okay, so it's another one of the old European drawings with the ecliptic and the equator on it, with the globes inside of it. Okay, that's 3. How are we doing for time? Okay, we're good. Okay, now we're going to take about, this is going to take about 5 or 10 minutes to go through this. This is the table of the stars. I'm just going to clear everything so we can, yeah, you can see it clearly. Okay, so this has the table of the stars. And on the left is a blank point for planets. This is a database, or it's a spreadsheet. And it came from a database. I made this spreadsheet and I cut it down. You'll see as we go through this, there's FS as the fixed star. It gives a number for each star. Each star has a number. Those numbers are on those chart forms. The numbers are used because they're easier to use than writing these huge names out to represent the stars. The first column is for where the stars would be in, what degree they would be in 1850. The second one is what degree they would be in 1900. The yellow highlighted column is where they would be in 1950, where they were in 1950. The next white one is not in 2000 where they were. So they're all listed as decimal degrees. They're not listed degrees, minutes, seconds. This is basically how things are calculated. And then we divide them into 30-degree sections. So you can, to go at this, you can see from 0, this is set up to start at Aries, 0 degrees longitude Aries, up to 30 degrees will be Aries, 30 to 60 will be Taurus, 60 to 90 will be Gemini, 90 to 120 will be Cancer, 120 to 150 will be Leo, 150 to 180 would be Virgo. 180 to 210 will be Libra. 210 to 240 will be Scorpio. 240 to 270 will be Sag. 270 to 300 will be Capricorn. 300 to 330 will be Aquarius. And 330 to 360 will be Pisces. So it's there. You know, it's going to be, if you're seeing the 0.2, 0 degrees Aries, 0.2. So it's a small, it's just a little bit in that first degree of Aries. Okay, if you ever, so normally when we're working with stars, we allow a 1 degree orb. Some people make it smaller, but I allow a 1 degree orb. But you're just using this column. The other white columns, this was for 1950. I'm born in 46, so I'd set it up for that. But if for younger people born since 1975, they would be using this column of long through 2000. They're closer to it. Okay, then what I don't understand is why the, sorry, I'm just changing it. I just want to, yeah, okay. So I just didn't, so here it is. And then it'll give you the longitude, then beside it, this coral is the latitude, how more north or south it is. This is north or south of the ecliptic, not north or south of the equator. That would be declination. That's in another grid. I took the declination out of this, so we just have it in the astrology as it's going around the zodiac as we know it. Then this is the important one, the magnitude, how bright it is. And the magnitudes, they go from first magnitude, well, there's a couple of stars, 2 stars that are brighter than the sun, but the sun, bright as the sun would be 0. And then up to about 150 would be first magnitude, 1.5 would be first magnitude stars. 1.5 to 2.5 would be second magnitude stars, 2.5. I think they probably count it to, up to, some people count it from 1 as first magnitude, less than 1, but I used up to 150 for first magnitude. 150 to 250, 2.5 is the second magnitude, 2.5 to 3.5 is third magnitude, and so on. So there's only about 20 first magnitude stars, plus 2 that are, of those are in the minus category, so they're even brighter than the sun. They can be seen in the daytime. So then it has the magnitude. So that's what we're looking at, how bright is the star. And then it has the names. These are Omega. This is with the Latin names, but beside it is the mythical names. You might have Deneb, or you might have Aldebaran, Alderman, or Alpharats. Yeah, some of them are Arabic, but they're the names the stars are known by. The other is more what astronomers or what's written on a map. So these are the 2 names. Then it shows you the type of star. Here is a spectroscopic double, spec double, variable. So this is a few different types of stars, sometimes more than 1 star, or it's a fluctuating star. That would be listed here. Then there's the magnitude variation. So sometimes it's a variable magnitude. It's going brighter and smaller. And so the variable stars are marked in this white column, not a lot of them. Then you have the spectrum, the SP, the spectroscope. This is the color, the denotation of each star. And that's a whole other language to tune into. So, but ideally, that would be the language that would, by the colors of the stars and putting them in the spectrum, we could actually get a valid spectral zodiac put in there. And then from the zodiac, we get the rulerships, and we'd have a whole other technique of determining the stars and determining rulerships and getting meaning from it. Now, I'm just going to move something here. It's in the way. Okay. So then you have then there's a distance factor in parsecs, how far away the star is from Earth. Then there's a color of the star, white, blue, white, yellowish. So I put the color in that closely approximates the spectrum, but not as accurate. Like those are really detailed, the spectroscopic colors. So this has the colors in. Then if there's a rulership that was given, the rulerships are then shown. You see there's a lot of stars in the rulership. There's a Saturn, there's a Mars, Mercury, there's different rulerships. And in the bottom on the left, for 1950, the one where I have the degrees and minutes put in, but I don't have it set up for the longitudes, for the other longitudes. It's just an extra column I put in and worked out a routine to have the degrees and minutes put in. But I think you just get used to using the decimal degrees, and that will work out best. So I'm going to what I want to do is I'm going to go through these. There's 25 pages, like screenshots of this, but I'm going to take a few seconds on each, because for those of you that see the video and don't have it, you can still get the information. And those of us will just have to wait a few minutes till we get through each of these. So here's the first. Second, some things here. And why isn't it working? Okay, here's the second one. Here's the second sheet. I'm just going to wait a couple of seconds so you just enough time to stop, pause the thing, get a screenshot of it so you can get your own book on this. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Page 8. Page 9. Page 10. Page 11. Page 12. Page 13. Page 14. Page 15. Page 16. Page 17. Page 18. Page 19. Page 20. Page 21. Page 22. Page 23. Page 24. Page 25. So this is the 745 stars. And those of you in the webinar, I'll be sending you this. Oh, there's a few more things I got to say about this. I'll be sending you the a spreadsheet where you can use the spreadsheet. And when I'm doing a person's chart, I put the planet here, and I input a space. I insert a row across, and it's all going to be blank, but I put the planet name and I put the degree, the planet with the decimal degree. I put my planets in the degree and then in where they are, so I can see we're going to use 1 degree before and after that planet. So I put it in, and you'll see in a minute, but this is how I make it, by putting them in, put the planets into this. It's a huge thing. Writing everything down all the time is a lot of work, but at least for those of you that see this and don't have the spreadsheet, you get it by just, if you become a RASA student and you sign, you send in the application form, and you get, and you go to the RASA.ws site, www.rasa.ws site, and you fill out the application form. You get these downloads come with the classes. So it's worth doing. But for those of you who don't and just see this, at least you can take the screenshots and get your own tables to be able to look and count which stars and which magnitudes are involved in your chart. So the other thing here is on the left under the FS, I have colored, each one is colored, and they're colored for the brightness. So second magnitude is this deep red. Third magnitude, I think, is the red, and if you get to a first magnitude, it'll be a purple there. There's a purple for first magnitude. They're not coordinated by meaningful color. They're just done in a way so they would stand out. So when you start putting your planets in places, you can see which ones are, fifth magnitude, sixth magnitude. You can see the different ones as they go along. You just can follow it along and see, but they're at least it helps in cutting through this vast list of stars. Okay, so